very good evening to you and a warm welcome to this week's edition of Breeding to Win, where the racing industry is gearing up for sales around the country. We start off next week with the 4th and the 5th of October for the CTS Ready to Run sales that take place in Cape Town out at Durbanville. And then following on the breaking news from 2 weeks ago, where CTS will be holding another Ready to Run sale now in Johannesburg, which takes place at the Inanda Club. Grant was in Johannesburg and he caught up with Mick Goss at the Inanda Club this Thursday to find out more about the Johannesburg Ready to Run sales.
Thanks to Julie Alexander, and it is a privilege, firstly, to have Mick Goss with us here as well, and to be here at the Inanda Club. Plenty of refurbishments taken place here. They have obviously scaled down in size, but Mick, your first impression, what a wonderful venue.
You know, I'd never seen this. I didn't even know it had happened. I know the old Inanda Club from the old days, and it's a venerable institution, as you know, 80 years old, incorporates the Rand Polo Club. It's the most beautiful equestrian facility in the country.
And they've modernised it as well, because now we're sitting in one of the private lounges, but there's a bar facility, they've got a function room. You had a chance this morning to have a little bit of a walk around, see the stables, the ballroom.
Sensational. I can't think of why we never thought of this as a venue for functions, for that matter, because I remember Silvano was launched in the original club. But here, this new development they've done here is absolutely outstanding.
Well, Mick, let's talk, because now this is going to be the venue for the Joburg Ready to Run sale, and you're the biggest vendor, so probably the easiest way to start is let's go through your draft, because you've always held some champion horses. Igugu's a graduate, and you've had some imports that have come through it again. Do you have imports in this particular year's draft?
Of course. We've got sons and daughters of 3 of the last 4 Australian champion sires. Redute's Choice, Encosta de Lago, we've got the up-and-comer High Chaparral, and of course, we've got an Exceed and Excel filly. So those 4 bases are covered. The only missing champion sire of the last 4 years is Lonhro. So I don't think we've ever had anything like it.
Now you've got a couple of partners, and I think the confirmed number of entries for the sales around about the 135 entry mark. Who's on board with you here?
Oh, we've got guys from all over the world. Historically, Summerhill has been populated by horses belonging to people from Japan to the United States. So it's quite a logistical mission, as you can imagine. I think we've got 110 or 115 in the sale, probably 145 owners. A number of those horses are duplicated, of course, so it's probably in aggregate not quite as many. But when you think that when you're speaking to people about their expectations for the sale and what's going on in the sale, it takes an army of correspondents to keep up with them.
Well, there's 2 things, because we've been chatting with the crew here at Inanda as well. There might be a whole new spillover of a different audience that are going to be visiting and frequenting here, because they seem really interested as a polo type of crowd.
It's quite remarkable, the names that they popped up with. I mean, we're talking about Basil Hersov from Abbey Boyd days. Johnny Nicholson will like that one. Then they talk about Cyril Ramaphosa turning up at the sale. Thabo Mbeki. I mean, you only just have to drive through the suburb here to realize we're right in the middle of it. It's beautiful.
Well, CTS was obviously groundbreaking when they launched the Book One sale in the heart of Cape Town. And this is almost a similar type of concept, because you're right in the heart of Sandton.
Absolutely. Of course, it's a country club atmosphere as against the convention centre. Both remarkably unique venues in their own way. But for the middle of Joburg to be celebrating a racehorse sale, I don't think anybody in Sandton, when they built it, when Liberty Life first discovered it many years ago, ever dreamt of it happening.
Now going back, must be 9 years, Mick, the Ready to Run sale, which you conceptualised when I was still available at Bloodstock South Africa actually, one of your big and crucial parts of it is you wanted to have a sweepstake type of environment where guys had an opportunity in a small batch of horses to race for big money. And that's obviously still the theme that you're trying to put across.
Look, I think that was our departure with BS8 in the end, was they were loading the sale with numbers that it couldn't really take. That was our take on it. And our supporters on the farm were disenchanted with the outcomes. So let's go back to the beginning. We went on board with a casino operator who understands absolutely the relationship between the odds of getting a run and the rewards. And we've kept a very tight lid on numbers. Coming on board with you guys, we've managed to achieve all of that again. And let's not forget, we took that race eventually to 3.85 million rands, which makes it the richest race in the country. And I've little doubt, with the experience I've had with you guys in the last couple of weeks, we can look forward to some big things here.
Let's talk about Emperor's Palace, because you mentioned them as well, and the press release did go out saying that they're actually going to be travelling alongside with you, and they're keeping the sponsorship going with Summerhill and the Ready to Run, and from the 1st of January, they're going to be on board as well.
Absolutely. I think it's a very personal relationship we have with Emperors. We do a lot of business with them during the year, but it's a personal friendship more than just a relationship. And I don't think I had nothing to do with the other aspects in terms of the renewal of the old sponsorship. But Bob didn't hesitate. He knows exactly where the original idea came from. He's been a part of it ever since, and I'm delighted to hear that he's confirmed to you guys that he's going to back the race next year.
Well, let's talk now about the Ready to Run, because obviously we've got a date now for your gallops, and that's going to be on the Friday, at a little bit of an earlier start on the Friday the 17th.
Yes, it'll need to be, because there's racing in the evening. I missed your meeting with my team. I've got to tell you, they've really got a new rush of blood to their heads about this thing, because they were so excited about the meeting they had with you. But now suddenly, out of the blue, we've got people being jetted in from all over the country, some very big hitters. It looks like a big occasion. People are talking about champagne and strawberries to kick off. We never thought about that in Mooi River in our time. Mega coaches, a wonderful marquee, a slap-up lunch. But we've got to get through this thing reasonably early so that the guys can get to the races. And the idea that you guys came with was to take this party to Durban for the evening races and to carry it on at the races. I think that's absolutely superb.
Well, it looks set to be a whole day's activity, then going on into the night as well. But now you've done the walk around, as we mentioned here, because the sale then moves to Sandton and the facility here, and the Bedouin coming out from the grandstand, creating a 2-tier story Bedouin that's going to give you upstairs access for bidding, as well as a possibility of having the Lipizanas as the opening ceremony.
Well, you saw the eyes and the mouths of the team here at the Ananda Club. At the mention of these ideas, they just dropped. That's never happened at any horse sale anywhere in the world either. So I guess we're going to have most of Sandton turning up on the evening to witness the preliminaries, let alone the sale itself.
In closing, Mick, one final question, because we are going to catch up with Adrian Todd from a CTS perspective and how the entries are going, the date of the catalogue and all that. But your team is very on the ball as well in regard to social media and blogs and the activity going forward. And as you mentioned, you've got plenty of clients that are involved in these horses. The general feedback, is it of one of excitement?
Oh, absolutely. Anybody who's been with us any time has got to be an adventurer anyway. I think that's been hallmark to the fact that we're still around in the industry. And in very broad terms, there's a great deal of support. There's always a matter of a smell of risk in the air when there's a new idea, but I have every faith now that we've spent a couple of weeks with you guys, that this will probably be the best managed sale we've ever been to in our lives, and we are so looking forward to it, because the innovations are way beyond anything we ever thought of.
Well, it's great to have had Mick in the studio. Thanks very much for joining us. I'm sure we'll be getting you in a little bit closer to the time as well. We'll be giving feedback of the gallops, and look forward to doing some nice promotions with you.
Thank you, Bill.
Cheers. Thanks very much. Well, that was Mick Goss. We'll be heading back to Julie, who's in the studio, and we'll be catching up with Adrian Todd a little bit later.
Well, Grant was quite busy this week and managed to catch up with Adrian Todd, COO of CTS.
Well, thanks very much to Julie once again. And as promised, now a chance to catch up with the COO of Cape Thoroughbred Sales, Adrian Todd. Big week coming because not long, in fact, horses already arriving at Durbanville. Welcome to the show again.
Thank you, Grant. Always a pleasure to be back, and already have arrived.
So gallops taking place, and obviously all the activity starting to hone in on Durbanville after what was Heritage Day. They're racing yesterday, all during the course of the week.
Yeah, definitely. I was out there yesterday myself. There's some 30-odd horses already arrived, and they're doing their gallops and keeping fit for the sale.
Adrian, obviously Landrack involved with the Ready to Run in the Western Cape as well, and they came on board last year and they really took the race and the sale by storm.
No, they did. You know, we're very fortunate to have Landseract on board, and we recently had, you were there, you know very well, the media dinner, and we thought that was a wonderful opportunity to let Landseract show the media who they are and what they're about, as opposed to being a sponsor. They're also a wonderful entity in their own right, and I think that gave the media a great opportunity to experience their hospitality.
Well, they're doing quite a few refurbishments at the hotel as well. They've got a new banqueting side and the deli. Well, I'll tell you what, the deli's alongside the wine tasting arena. If you haven't yet been, it really would be a nice day out. You go do a bit of wine tasting, and then just on the other side of the wine tasting room is the Landserac Deli, some of the finest cuisine. I tell you what, we had a couple of sandwiches then when we woke up the next morning. Absolutely superb. But I always get sidetracked when I talk about food, sorry. But going forward, obviously now the sale coming up, nice catalogue. There's 180 odd horses there and a really nice depth and strength.
We're very happy with the catalogue, Grant. You know that the Ready to Run sale in Cape Town's gone from strength to strength for us, and we're excited about this year's catalogue.
Now, obviously, CTS are renowned for the hospitality and of bringing people in. How's it looking in terms of guys coming down for the sale?
It's looking very good. You know, we've been in touch with people. People are making their bookings and getting down there. If anybody hasn't made their bookings yet, please contact us. We want to get everybody back down there like we normally do. It's going to be a wonderful day. We'll start out with the racing with the Kuda Matcham Stakes and the Landserac Diana Stakes, also now sponsored by Landserac. And as we well know, after racing, there's an opportunity for everybody to watch the rugby before we start selling horses.
That's going to be fantastic. Giant screens?
Giant screens.
Giant screens to watch the rugby. South Africa versus New Zealand, and that's obviously after spending the day with Kuda, with the Matcham Stakes as well. So we're looking forward to that. Tony, let's go back 2 days and we start with the gallops. Now, the gallops are scheduled for Thursday, the 2nd of October.
That's correct, Grant. The gallops will be 9 o'clock in the morning as we usually do. Hospitality will be there. Let people have a good day out and good morning watching the gallops. They'll be, as usual, up on the internet as quickly as possible. So it'll just be a good day.
You normally get a good turnout for those gallops, don't you? It's actually quite a fun day.
We do it. It seems to work very nicely. You know, people come out to have a look. The trainers, of course, have got time to finish their morning work and then they come across. And it is a nice, fun day.
Breakfast is served. Going back to food again. Breakfast is served.
Breakfast is served, Grant. Don't worry.
And lunch afterwards? I think you had a lunch afterwards.
Yeah, there'll be some food afterwards, and just a general day for people then to go straight into viewing should they desire.
And then Friday is generally earmarked as a viewing day.
That's correct. Friday is earmarked as a whole day of viewing.
All right, you're starting off, as you mentioned, the sale after the rugby with about 70 odd horses, and then the sale continues Sunday.
That's correct, Grant. You know, it's a small selection of 70, 75 horses actually on the Saturday night after the rugby, and then we'll reconvene the next day. Lunch will be served as usual with our midday sales, and we'll start to sell the rest.
Fantastic stuff. A lot of people looking forward. It's a really nice sale, and obviously big horse last year. I think was it 4.5 million. Red Ray's brother going through the ring as well. So certainly a quality sale in its own right. But we're here at Inanda. We've had a host of meetings. We've got the crew here that are going to be assisting you with setting up and looking after the place. And you've met the Inanda team. How did things go?
Very good, Grant. We're looking forward to having our sale up here. You know, Inanda is a wonderful venue. It's steeped in equine history. It's in the centre of town, and that's in keeping with our whole philosophy of inner city sales. And I think it's going to be wonderful. They're a wonderful team to work with, and it's truly going to be a breathtaking experience for everybody to come and see the sale here.
We'll be sitting in one of the lounges, as I mentioned earlier as well, and if you open the windows, you can actually see the hub of Sandton.
Correct, and in the evenings, you see all the lights of the Sandton Towers is just beautiful.
Now, there'll be no shortage of restaurants to go and visit or hotels to stay in, should you want to stay in this area as well. Now, just take us through how things are going with the Ready to Run in Joburg, because I think your entries are just about closed now, and you should be going to print shortly with the catalogue.
We will be going to print at the end of this week, Grant. Obviously, it'll be starting out with the gallops. The gallops will be at Mooi River on Friday the 17th of October. We'll be making arrangements to get as many people down there as possible. We'll be running buses out of Johannesburg and out of Durban via Summerveld. We'll make arrangements for the Cape people to get up as well. And then we've got a few horses that are actually in Joburg in training, so those gallops will be on Monday the 13th of October. And they'll be set up ready to be viewed at the bigger gallop draft, which will take place on the Friday at Summerhill.
Exciting times ahead.
Oh, very much so, Grant. You know, always something new to do, and we've just always hoped that we can provide a better platform as we go forward every year, making improvements and catering for our clients, both the buyers and the sellers, and that's what we're trying to do.
Plenty to look forward to. If you've heard from Adrian now and you haven't yet received any sort of catalogue for any of the sales, you need to get hold of them and give them your address for postage requirements. Adrian, thanks very much for joining us on the show once again, and we look forward to certainly having the team out at the sales to catch up with what transpires there as well, and we wish you a successful Landsrack Ready to Run sale.
Thank you very much, Grant.
In the Landsrack Ready to Run Stakes, presented by CTS, Redway gets given his head and he comes forward and takes up the running. Captain America's on the chase. Back along the inside, Accelero. The riders towards the inside. Redway's got a race on his hands. As Captain America falls alongside of him. Captain America, Redway. Captain America, Redway. It's Captain America climbing up. Captain America beats Redway on the line.
Bounded away from them.
And very well done to Sean and to Chris. I think they've got a bit of a horse in their hands.
Peregrine on the far inside, but Pomodoro. And Pomodoro stays on the better one well today.
He is really a nice horse to ride.
Pomodoro in the middle's picked it up in the closing stages, and Pomodoro has raced away and has won it well.
He just stamped himself as a top 3-year-old in the country.
Smanji and Pomodoro, here comes the line, very close, maybe Smanji in a photo.
And I'm excited for Pomodoro to get to stud, and I'm excited for him to start producing. It's just a whole new adventure and a whole new start, and believe you me, when Chris and I see them in the ring, we will put our head down.
Well, his progeny are tough, genuine and durable, and they've all been supported at the yearling sales. Let's take a look at Rebel King's stallion profile.
Delaware Bay's fighting right back, it gets mighty close. 1914 just made it. But I think Nita's Bonnet, they come players flying at Nita's Bonnet, but Nita's Bonnet got it there.
But Malin's going to win it, going away an impressive winner.
But it's Sluice Gate with 100 metres to go, still very green but will win. Walstone's looking for the line now, and Walstone will just get home.
Rebel King raced sound from 2 to 5 years and won or placed in 8 Grade 1 races. He set a new race record in the South African nursery, and just like their dad, his progeny are tough, genuine and durable. His progeny have him in cracking form as the leading third crop sire by number of 3-year-old winners this season. he is also second leading third crop sire by number of 3-year-old races won as well as stakes earned. And he is right in contention with that same group of sires, with his combined first and second crop by stakes earned and number of winners again this season. His progeny have kept his name in close contention amongst the very prominent group of sires that started their careers in the same season as he did. He finished the 2014 racing season as joint third leading sire of 3-year-olds by number of winners. The progeny of Rebel King have been very well supported at all of the yearling sales. His colt at the Premier Sale was sold for 900,000 rand, and several others have achieved prices above 30 times his service fee. Rebel King gets good-looking, well-made stock and represents excellent value. Rebel King is the property of a syndicate and stands at Klavervlei Stud and is managed by John Freeman.
Second or no. So number 14, All Is Secret, is victorious. Well Witcher. And for the lads wanted.
Shay takes the lead. Shay wins the Elgos.
New Turf Carriers is a family-run business owned by Mark and Dory Sham and their 3 sons, Michael, Matthew and Marcus. New Turf Carriers has been in long-distance transport since 1995 and pride themselves in excellent service, punctuality and loyalty to their clients. Every single stud farm and every single sale to every single racecourse, New Turf Carriers pride themselves in delivering your horse safely. The welfare of your horse is paramount, and it is to this end that we have our own midway stop between Johannesburg and Cape Town. This is situated at Colesberg, where we have a stabling facility for 60 horses, so that the horses on long trips can get off and have a rest during their journey. The bottom line is, New Turf Carriers take your horse from door to door with pride, passion and punctuality.
Well, Grant and Adrian both alluded to the media dinner that was held at Lanzarek Hotel and Spa for the Ready to Run Stakes. And it was a fantastic evening, enjoyed by all. Andrew Bond was there and he caught up with General Manager Winston Cowie of Lanzarek Hotel and Spa to tell us more about the Ready to Run Stakes event.
Well, as a newbie to the racing, what was really has been incredible for me is to learn so much more about the sport and how involved it really is. That has been quite remarkable, and I've certainly gained an immense respect for the racing, and it's been wonderful to meet the colourful people involved with the racing fraternity. The synergies between the horse racing and the Lanzarek, its heritage dating back to 1692, you know, the thoroughbreds, and something we'd love to perhaps emulate at Lanzarek, you know, to be able to want to achieve, to want to win, to be champions of what we do. And we have this really beautiful environment, you know, in which we live. And I think that certainly, plus the heritage, the history, the sport of kings, the glamour, the spectacle, you know, I think it's truly a lovely match between ourselves and CTS. You know.
There's a great mystique that surrounds horse racing, But they say that the racehorse is the physical embodiment of that which you have failed to achieve in your life. And I think possibly the analogy and the similarity between the beauty and the majesty and the historic significance of this property ties in very well with that of the majestic thoroughbred.
Exactly our feeling. What would a thoroughbred like to achieve? What would we like to achieve? Aren't they so similar? I mean, of course, we want to have a winning formula. We want to, and that desire to achieve. I mean, definitely you can see that now as I get to know racehorses. They certainly want to be out front. They want to win. We'd love to emulate that. I've realized when the ladies are all dressed, we're feasting, we're imbibing wonderful wines, we are that enjoyment of it, we are such social beings, as Socrates himself said, and it's expressed so well in a real good race day, and I think all of that just gels so well with what we at Landsrack would like to present to people.
Now, the experience that we as journalists were privileged enough to enjoy last night, how do you take that to Kenilworth Racecourse?
Well, in fact, our chef, Stephen Frazier, who I really have come to appreciate as a person who can combine things and create great tastes. What we feel at Kenilworth this year, what I'd like to achieve, is to bring our chef there, and in that way, show off Landsrack as best we can, even though we're not on our home ground. Hopefully that. We have got hold of a company to really make the day, or the decor and everything beautiful inside. So I'm hoping that all of that would certainly show Landsrack in the best possible way we can.
Well, just as we are privileged enough to sit in this incredibly breathtaking environment on this crystal clear summer's day, Kenilworth also has a very special backdrop, whichever way you look at it, whether you're looking back at the mountain or if you're looking at the Cederberg Mountains. It's not exactly out of character with the beauty that you see over here.
Well, I certainly remember as a young man some centuries ago that I ended up in the sort of owner's box, or whatever you call it, area of Kenilworth, and I was really so bowled over by that everything seems to have a significance dating back to goodness knows when, this relationship between horse and man, and it's certainly brought there. And I do think Landsrack, everyone will remember from goodness knows when. Anyone who's ever lived in Stellenbosch remembers it fondly. It's become almost theirs. There's ownership taken of Landsrack, our place. Do not change it, keep it as it is. So those are a lot of the things people have been saying to me who live in the area, and I suppose that all relates to something that has been an age-old tradition in racing that will probably endure for as long as racing exists.
We believe in excellence. We believe that if you're going to do something, you do it to your best ability. We aim to make Balmoral #1 in the Southern Hemisphere, not just South Africa.
Well, it's my pleasure to welcome on the line Nicola Copes from Balmoral Stud to chat about her draft for the up-and-coming CTS Ready to Run sales. Nicola, welcome to Breeding to Win.
Hi, Julie. Thank you very much.
Looks like you've got a widespread draft with a lot of different stallions.
Yeah, we've actually got 32 because we put in some late entries. So we've got 32 entries and quite a wide range of stallions.
Very nice stallions as well. I see you trying the Warm White Knights, the Rebel Kings, Visionaire. You've got one or two of them. So a great pack of horses that you've got for your draft.
I think we've got a nice wide spectrum for everyone's pocket. We've got 3 imported horses on the draft as well. And as you said, we've got 2 or 3 really nice Warm White Knights. We've got Laterals, VAR, and a very, very smart Visionaire colt and a Judd Pot as well. And then on the filly side, we've got Elusive Fort, which is a very nice filly, and another Warm White Knight.
And the 7th Rocks, how do you think they're going to do on the sales with his progeny taking off?
I don't think there's too many. I've got a very smart 7th Rock filly. We did our practice breed yesterday here at Durbanville. The horses have travelled up really well, and we did a practice, and I was delighted with the majority of the horses.
Okay, now Nicola, just if you had to say your top 10 or 12 horses that you would pick from your draft for the sale, what would they be? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
That's a really difficult question. I've got okay, first of all, I would say the Domesday colt, Archipenko colt, and the Henry the Navigator colt. But then there's also a very nice Warm White Knight colt, and also an outstanding Judd Pot colt. Then on the filly side, the 7th Rock, and then lot 178 and lot 179, which is a Var, and a Western Winter lot 47.
The one I actually wanted to point out, I wanted to chat about a little bit, is the lot 77, the Visionaire colt out of Bed of Roses.
Yes.
Now, I've noticed that the majority of your babies you actually haven't named, and obviously that gives the opportunity to the buyer to actually name the horse.
Well, I think when you buy a horse, it should be the owner's privilege to give their own name, and that's why we specifically do not name any of our horses. The Visionaire colt is a homebred of ours, and it's the only foal that the mare had. She unfortunately died.
Oh, sure.
And he really is a smart colt. We've had a lot of interest from overseas with regards to him.
Nicola, we wish you all the best for the up-and-coming...
Thank you very much.
For the up-and-coming sales, and I'm sure we'll catch up out at Durbanville next weekend.
All right, we look forward to seeing you. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nicola. Thanks to Nicola Copes for her time. And, of course, that's the Balmoral draft. 32 lots they have on next week's sale.
In an exciting and timely announcement for the South African racing and breeding industries, on Saturday, CTS announced the prize money for their ready-to-run races in both Cape Town and Johannesburg for 2015. The Lanzarote Ready-to-Run Stakes, presented by CTS, has received a 500,000 Rand increase, taking it to 2.5 million Rand in stakes, while the Emperor's Palace Ready-to-Run Cup, presented by CTS, will carry the same purse. The buy-in for both races for vendor and buyer will remain the same at 7,500 Rand. The 2014 Lanzarote Ready-to-Run sale will be conducted at Durbanville Racecourse with gallops on the 2nd of October from 9 AM, with the sale commencing on Saturday the 4th and concluding on Sunday the 5th of October. The inaugural CTS Johannesburg Ready-to-Run sale will be conducted on the 31st of October at the Inanda Club in Sandton, with gallops to be held on Monday the 13th of October at Turfentine Racecourse and Friday the 17th of October at Summerhill Stud.
Gavel House is the leading website for trading horses online. Selling your racehorse, mare or even a share in a yearling is so easy on Gavel House. You can browse our sires directory to match the best mating for your mare. with text description, videos and up-to-date sires reports. Gavelhouse.com is the best way to sell your horse. We reach places others can't, where buyers and sellers deal direct and pay no commission. Go to Gavelhouse.com.
Well, the two horses on offer by Gavel House this evening is a horse in training. The first up is Storm Rider, a 2010 gelding, around about 80,000 Rand, which is negotiable. He's a lightly raced 4-year-old and not far off his next run. Now, Storm Rider, currently in training with Lucky Hudolakis, has had a few starts with a good second, and he stands at about 16.3 hands. He has a lovely big action with a very nice temperament, and if you are interested, you can contact Joe Panoy. The other is an unraced filly. Her name is Silver Goddess by Silvano out of I Believe in Miracles. She's going for 250,000 Rand. She's a beautiful filly from a family peppered with black type. Roland Pretorius is your contact if you do want to get involved in Silver Goddess, who was purchased at the 2013 National Yearling Sale and is in full work with Stewie Pettigrew. Well, that's a wrap for this week's edition of Breeding to Win. We look forward to seeing you out at Durbanville next week, Saturday and Sunday, for the CTS Ready to Run sales. From myself, Julie Alexander, and the rest of the Breeding to Win team, good night.